We're going to be talking about the real reason why the Chicago Bulls were able to come back from 18 points down to snap a 4-game losing streak against the Atlanta Hawks. This is your host, Rico Greenhowe, and you have found yourself on another episode of Bulls Digest. And so the Chicago Bulls come back from 18 points down to beat the Atlanta Hawks tonight, 125-113, and we are going to be talking about some major takeaways. And let me start first as a team. This was a good team win. We had 8 players that were in double figures. I believe that was mentioned during the broadcast as being a season high. And so let's go ahead and jump into just really the standouts before we jump into what happened as far as the team and the box score is concerned here. And so, the first major takeaway for me is going to be Julian Phillips. And I think that Julian Phillips was amazing tonight. And I loved everything that he did. And I think between him and Dalen Terry, which we're going to talk about here in a moment, this is why I love these younger players. This is why I feel good about these younger players as they continue to get playing time. I think with Julian Phillips and Dalen Terry, you just see that they have put in the work. And I feel like that they provide the Chicago Bulls with this chippiness. They provide this edge. And they were part of a huge run for the Chicago Bulls because, look, at one point, Atlanta had scored 70 points on us in the first half. They put Julian Phillips along with Dalen Terry in, and we went on a run. Atlanta went on to score just 43 points in the second half. But defensively, I loved everything that I got from Julian Phillips. I loved the fact that he knocked down some threes. And I also loved the fact that he was in the paint. There was one time where Ayo was driving, found him, and he goes up and he dunks it. And you love what Julian Phillips did because there was, I think last game, Patrick Williams was in that same position and got blocked. But you see just the awareness that Julian Phillips has to quickly go ahead and dunk it. And that's what I'm talking about with him. I think that he was huge tonight. He had 10 points, 2 steals, 4 rebounds, and more importantly, he was plus 14 in the box score. Again, I just loved everything that he brought to us defensively, offensively tonight. And I hope that this continues where Billy Donovan continues to insert these younger players into the lineup and gives them playing time. Next up, I want to talk about Ayo Dosunmu. I think that Ayo definitely came out there and he was a tone setter for us as well, running that point guard position well for us and really just I think really quarterbacking this second unit and really helping us throughout the run. And this is what I love about Ayo Dosunmu. If his shot is not falling, he finds ways to get to the basket. He finds ways to make the defense shift. And he finds ways to just get it to teammates to where they have good shots for themselves. And so I love this about Ayo today. I think that he played fabulous. 19 points today. Look, he had 4 assists, 2 rebounds. He was 2 of 3 from downtown. He was plus 11. This is why I do not worry about Ayo Dosunmu because players like this, that are struggling, from outside, they just can't get their 3-point shot to fall. Then I think you see the rest of their game crumble. And then it's just like you're wondering, okay, can they dig themselves out of this? This is why I love Ayo Dosunmu. And this is also why I love Coby White because they can be playing badly and they find ways to get it done. They find ways to help their teams. And I loved it tonight with what he brought defensively. He had a huge block going into the third quarter. It was like right before halftime. Clint Capella had an open lane to get a dunk, and I think that kind of really set the tempo for us in the second half. So kudos to Ayo Dosunmu. I think that he played very well. Next up, I have got to give Dalen Terry some credit as well. Dalen Terry, man, you talk about chippiness and you just talk about just gut check. It's Dalen Terry. I mean, Dalen Terry finding ways to just dig out rebounds, continue to just put a body on people out there defensively. And it's just something about Dalen Terry where it's not necessarily him just getting a whole bunch of points or it's a whole bunch of rebounds. It's just a lot of the the energy that he brings, man, that grit is it's the identity that this team needs. And I think that Dalen Terry is a player that I feel like he is going to get better offensively because I feel like he's putting in the work. But I just love the fact that for him, he is okay locking in defensively. And I know that we have taken some losses, but I don't think that there has been a video where I've said the effort has not been there for Dalen Terry or Julian Phillips. Like, I think that they have really gone out there and just said, hey, let's just bear down. Let's try to lock in defensively, and then let's go from there. And I think that he's going to figure it out. I love what he brings to the team. And I think that as Billy Donovan continues to play Dalen Terry, gives him opportunities to get into some scoring positions, I think that you're going to see that become a little bit more natural for him, because there was one time during the game where he ends up going to the free throw line. He makes 2 shots, and I think that it was Stacey King saying that, hey, he would have liked to see him take the 3-point shot. But I liked what Dalen Terry did, because it was like, look, if he didn't feel comfortable taking the 3-point shot, much like Ayo Dosunmu will do sometimes, he drives in, he hunts for contact, and he gets to the free throw line and still gives us 2. And I like that awareness, because it doesn't just have to be Vooch who is in the paint attacking the paint. I like that with Dalen Terry, and that is a sign of a player that is getting it. And so I just think that as he continues to get the reps, like some of these other younger players, I think that we're going to be in a great situation. And lastly, I want to go ahead and give Zach LaVine his credit today. Coming back from the injury, he was the closer today. I think that that's the bottom line for it. And this is what you want if you're trying to trade for Zach LaVine. You want a player that, yes, he can be a primary scorer. Yes, he can be the primary guy, but look, he had to take a little bit of a backseat, play a little bit of defense out there. There were some steals and things that he made. He was active on the defensive end, and he also had 7 assists tonight. And so you love that, the unselfishness. He didn't take too many questionable shots. He cut down the turnovers. I think he's averaging close to about 7. He had 3 tonight. I know that's not a good thing, but still, he cuts it down, and he has an efficient 18 points. I love the way that he really just controlled the game from a score standpoint, and then he was able to just take us home. And so that's what we've always wanted from Zach LaVine, just a player that plays with the right pace, understands, the time and score, just understands when to go ahead and just put his foot on the gas today. So I think that Zach LaVine did a terrific job in coming back from this injury and showing us the way. So I loved exactly what he did tonight. And so as we push forward and we go into the box score, I think that there's a whole bunch of good stuff in here. Let me give Patrick Williams his credit, because he led us in the plus-minus box score tonight. 10 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks, plus 11. Look, that's all we've ever wanted from Patrick Williams. He does not have to be a 20, 30-point scorer. I know that it's talked about all over the place about him being a role player. Well, this is a role player's role. You have to continue to be consistent like this. This is what we want to see. And there was some assertiveness to him. He got a steal. He's coming down. Instead of passing it out, instead of traveling, instead of getting the shot block, he goes up for a powerful one-handed layup, and it sparked or ended a good run, I think, for us in the third quarter. It caused the Atlanta Hawks to call a timeout, and that's what we want to see from Patrick Williams. So the great assertiveness, the great aggressiveness out there, we needed it tonight. Patrick Williams did his thing. Next up, Vooch continues to be Vooch. 18 points, 12 rebounds, 2 steals, super efficient. And Vooch, he just makes a little history here, because Vooch is, I think, the first player since Artis Gilmore to do it. 200 points, 100 rebounds in his first 10 games. Vooch is absolutely balling. And like I said before with Vooch, I know he might be commanding some second-round picks, but I'd have to think if Vooch continues to play like this, there is going to be a team that says, look, we are trying to make a serious playoff run. We need this guy to play like this. I know that, he may not have this much longer at this peak or prime or whatever, but I'd have to think that teams are going to want to take a chance. I don't think it's too far of a stretch that they might offer up a protected first round, like I was saying in the pregame. And so Vooch still doing his thing. Next up, Want to go ahead and give Jalen Smith his credit as well, coming back from the knee injury. 10 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. He was +6 tonight. So I think that those are kind of the key takeaways from the box score. And also, too, Josh Giddy, got to give him love. 13 points today, 7 assists, 6 rebounds, 2 steals. I love the fact that he was 5 of 9, but he also was 1 of 1 from downtown. And the one thing that I liked about Josh Giddy that really stood out to me, he was taken out of the game, and the younger players ended up playing. They ended up going ahead, getting us back into the game. Josh Giddy comes back out there and closes it. And I love the focus that Josh Giddy gave us tonight because, yes, I mean, there were a lot of players out there that blew some assignments. We should not have been down like this, but we needed that energy out there. But I like the fact that Josh Giddy, very engaged, stayed locked in tonight, really made some good decisions out there. And you know he did because he was a plus in the box score tonight. And so I've got to give credit to Josh Giddy. That's exactly what we needed tonight. And, you know, just as a team, that's what we have to do. We have to defend with some urgency out there. And that's what we did in the second half. Again, at one point, we were 24-9 in the fourth quarter. And as we get out of here and look at the team box score, some of the key takeaways here today is that the Bulls win in the rebounding totals 45-39. That is always a good thing if you're winning on the boards. Next up, we had 30 assists to 45 makes. Very efficient there. We shot 50% from the field. Not as good from downtown tonight, but we made the shots when we needed them to. 34.2% tonight. We got beat up in the paint 64-56. I think that is going to be a given because we don't have too much paint presence down there, but we definitely turned up the intensity. We did lose the turnover battle 17-13 tonight. So the Hawks had 13 turnovers. We had 17. But lastly, as we get out of here, I just think that this is what the Chicago Bulls are going to have to do. You're going to have to rely more on these younger players and certainly put them in there. I love the fact that Billy Donovan makes that decision and goes with these younger players and says, look, they may not necessarily have it offensively going, but these are the players that are willing to get in the mud and scrap and give us a chance to be in the game. And also, too, they're learning on the fly. So I love that. And I just think that as the Chicago Bulls team gets better, as they start to continue to upgrade this roster, as these players continue to get comfortable with themselves, and hopefully we get to a contender status, you're going to have to show as much, you're going to have to show the same enthusiasm that you show on the offensive end, on the defensive end. Defense cannot be an option if you want to win in any sport, especially out there in the NBA against any team. You have got to want to do something that, honestly speaking, it's not the most, prettiest thing in the game. Playing defense is something that, it's not going to necessarily get you a whole bunch of highlight clips and things like that, but it is necessary if you want to win, and that, I hope, is what this team wants to do in the long term. So anyway, let me know in the comments what you are thinking about this win for the Chicago Bulls. I think that this is huge. Major takeaway here for me tonight is that the younger players stepped up, and this is what we need. And also, before we jump out, Coby White. How about that? Coby White was having a terrible night, and then he closes well, ends up in a plus in the box score today. 18 points, 5 assists, 5 rebounds. Once again, this is why I don't worry about him and Ayo Dosunmu. But anyway, or Dosunmu, excuse me. Let me know in the comments what you're thinking out there about this win for the Chicago Bulls. I want to thank everybody for liking, sharing, and subscribing to Bulls Digest. Wanted to let you know that we're trying to reach our goal of 5,000 subscribers before the NBA season ends. So make sure you go ahead and mash on that subscribe button for me. And look, even though 64.2% of you that watch are not subscribed, definitely go ahead and make sure that you continue to hit that subscribe button and support the channel. And look, this is what we need. Look, even if we would have lost tonight, I'm going to be super excited at the fact that these younger players, I think, took another step. Can they put consistency together? That's what this season is all about. It's about the younger players getting better each game out, because that's ultimately what we're going to be building on. So anyway, look, the Bulls win against the Hawks. I'm saying go Bulls, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.